8 birdies.
What a display, too. She's shown such control in her approach shots.
Back at 17.
Second shot for Jin Young Ko.
If she was able to win it, or any other South Korean, it would make 9 of 13 victories for Korea in this championship since against Ari Pak, starting it all back in the late 90s at Black Wolf Run. And here is Shibuno from Japan at the 14th.
Yeah, this Papa.
Great hands out of the bunker.
Yeah, talk about South Korean dominance. I'm talking to our colleagues from Japan. The Japanese media are saying that Shibuno's generation are the golden generation of players, that they feel like they have world beaters from Japan that are bursting onto the scene, and Shibuno is one of them now. Amy Olsen for par.
And Dan, you know, I'm going to assume at this point, given her history, that Amy wants nothing to do with knowing what's going on the leaderboard. But after listening about somebody carrying a scoreboard and not know exactly where she stands.
Yeah, she's seemingly been in her own world, Bones, and that is no surprise considering what has been swirling around her family.
And I think the dynamic of not having the fans and the crowds that we normally see at a U.S. Women's Open, this is where we're going to start to see it. Players that are like an Lim Kim, that aren't maybe the top 10 in the world, that aren't used to playing in front of thousands of people, might be less effective. Or Amy Olsen, not knowing what's going on in the groups in front.
Back at 17.
Jin Young Ko, a third, trying to get it up and down to stay within 1. That'll release down to the hole. And she will have that putt to remain 1 behind with 1 hole to play.
Okay, so the final few holes of the 75th U.S. Women's Open, and the only major championship played by the women in the history in the month of December. Amy Olsen tied for the lead right now with Lim Kim, who just hit a beautiful approach into 18, trying to make it 3 under as the number to beat. Jin Young Ko still with a chance, along with Shibuno. They're over at the 15th, and we're here now at 18 right now with Lim Kim. So stage is set for her, like it has been so many previous times for women from South Korea. In fact, one of the developmental tours for women in Korea, Paige, is called the Dream Tour. I know you're familiar with that, and Lim Kim played on that for a couple of years before making it to the Korean LPGA Tour. And how incredible would this be if the dream comes true here at another U.S. Women's Open championship title for South Korea?
There's not much in this putt. It just looks like maybe a little left to right initially, but couldn't ask for a better putt.
And that is birdie number 16 on the week. It leads the field. And Lim Kim has taken the lead with 3 straight birdies down the stretch.
Incredible. When you consider what this championship means across the world, but also specifically in South Korea. You mentioned Ari Pak and what she's done. You mentioned the dominance of the Korean players in the last decade. But also playing side by side with Young Kim in the group today, who is the most decorated player in the last couple of months on the LPGA Tour. It's been an incredible display of great golf and unintimidated by the stage she's on.
6 birdies, round of 67. It ties the best of the week, the 4th 67 shot. Back at 15, Shibuno off the tee. Safely on the right side over there. And all of a sudden, Amy Olsen has been caught and passed by Kim. 4 holes left.
With a good drive on this hole, it'll leave a shorter iron in her hand, at least making this more birdieable opportunity for her.
17.
Megan Kang for a birdie. This was just a moment ago. And so Megan Kang's chances of winning the championship have gone. Now live with Caitlin Papp, who's battling to be the low amateur. This for par. And that sneaks in there. And what an achievement it is for Caitlin Papp from Austin, Texas. That's where she grew up. Yeah, no wonder. One to go. See if she can get it in at 4 over. And now Jin Young Ko. This for par. So mathematically, her chances of winning, this has to go in, because she would need to hold her second on the 18th hole if she makes this to tie Lim Kim. We've seen stranger things, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. You hang around this game long enough, Tom. Players know it. We know it. Stuff happens, as they say.
Jin Young Ko also battling to get into the Tour Championship next week. And that is a 4. And she is right on the bubble at the moment, Jin Young Ko, to get in, even if she doesn't win here. So 18 is very important.
Is South Korea just a little ways away from welcoming another champion in the U.S. Women's Open? What a finish for Lim Kim. She went out in 3 under 33. Made a couple of bogeys early on her second 9, but it was a 3 birdie finish that has put up a 3 under number. The first of the 3 off the tee at the par 316.
Really unlikely on these finishing holes. Some of the hole locations well protected, but you could not ask for a much better approach on that par 3.
That got her back into red figures at 1 under, and then taking aim with her second, a beauty at the 17th.
It really was. She put herself in good position off of the tee most of the day from what we saw, able to come into this hole with a shorter iron, which again, that sloping away from the players in the back part of that green, able to place it perfectly to get the release.
And then the birdie putt at 18. And during this incredibly challenged COVID year 2020, I don't want to say it would be appropriate for a winner to be in a mask, but Lim Kim has worn that mask all week during play. They don't all do it during play, but that is what she has elected to do, and she will wait and watch to see how the rest of the contenders finish up, including Olsen over at 15. A little short as she battles from 1 back. And we go back to 18. Jin Young Ko at 1 under. Needs a miracle kind of finish here.
It's amazing how
out.
The sense of urgency has changed with the incredible finish by Kim. All of a sudden, conservative doesn't matter anymore. Got to play aggressive in these finishing stretch.
Back at 15. Maria Jatanagar from 156, 6 iron.
She knows exactly what not to do, and that's leave it short. Able to carry it onto the green. Is the difference between landing it on the green and then just short, and it's a little away.
Now Shibuno. 2 back.
46 into a pretty decent breeze. This is a big pull. See if it catches the green. It does, but a very tricky putt upcoming.
Yeah, man, all of a sudden with Lim Kim's 3 birdie finish, Jatanagarn is now 4 back, Shibuno's 2 back, and a lot of those +1s who had hopes are really going to have to finish with a flurry. This Papp coming home.
Yeah, she decides she's going to move that tee a little further over to the right-hand side of the tee box.
And there's that strange routine of lining up the ball on a drive like she would a putt, Kay, that you picked up on earlier in the week, and you said that you'd never seen anybody ever do that.
I hadn't, and I asked her dad yesterday or the other day. I said, how long has she been doing it? And he said, for years. It was started as a drill, a way that she could find her spot, that her immediate spot, line it up to that, helped her with her alignment, and it just became part of her routine. And that going a little bit down the right-hand side.
And 18 has been a little easier hole today, that is for sure, Paige, with the tees up. 381. There have been some birdies, as we just saw by Lim Kim.
So not until after the fact, you know, what she was thinking as she plays this back nine. But, you know, at some point, if she's got to make something happen to catch the leader, she may have to know.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bones, as a longtime caddy, that's where you're thinking. That's what, you know, your mental path is going. You got to let your player know. That's good, because you know you got to come back. I mean, sometimes when they say, oh, by the way, you're leading here.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel as good as like, all right, man, we got to bear down here.
Correct.
Great point. And let's not forget that in 1994, Jesper Parnevik did not win the Open Championship because he did not know what was going on scoreboard-wise, and ultimately Nick Price prevailed.
Well, that'll be up to Tanika Sandefur, who we talked about earlier, just over to Amy's right, to see if she can get some information and give or not give that information to her gal Amy.
Cannot blame her one bit for putting this very smooth between her and the putting surface, working to her left.
It's got some speed.
And that will be slick coming.
Beautiful putt.
She's done a good job of grinding it out. It has not been her best ball striking day, but still within range.
Up at 18, Pap the amateur coming home, trying to finish it off.
I'm going to need a good one from this angle to be able to launch it up high enough to stop it next to the hole, and that was a good one.
And back at 15 we go.